Hi, I'm Steve Costello. I'm a math interventionist in Massachusetts for grades kindergarten through 5. I've done thousands of number talks, and I'd like to welcome you to 3 things you should do in number talks. You should use math vocabulary. When I say that, I mean you and the kids. Once you start to focus on modeling the use of math vocabulary, you'll notice when you could have said sum or difference or product instead of answer, or ones digit instead of the number on the end, or pointing and saying that. Speak the words that they'll see on their state tests. If by April or May you still have kids asking, what's add? Is it plus? It's on you because you're their only chance. It's not conversational vocabulary for third graders. They're not going to get that on the playground. They're not going to practice it at home. Very unlikely. It's gonna be your number talk is very likely the only chance they'll ever get to use math vocabulary. Word banks are good for this. Put one up when you're going to start your number talk. And here's an example of something I've tried in the past where I've kept score. You can see I give the kids a tally mark if somebody one of the kids uses one of those vocabulary words, and then I'll give myself a point if I use it. Uh, it's anything you can do to convince them that it's important for them to use these words in conversation and when you're talking about math and number talks. And it's really difficult at times to get them to just say the words out loud. They're not totally sure what they mean sometimes, and they don't want to look silly by using the wrong word in the wrong place or just not used to that. They might not understand the concept. There's a lot of reasons why kids just don't say the words out loud. So, sentence frame in a word bank. Anything you can do to get them to actually say the vocabulary words out loud will just help to get them started. You should also use examples of student work. Now, naturally, I have a rule of 3 for this because we're on the clock. Uh, there's there's a there's a problem. You can't just take 5, 6, 7 pieces of student work and put them all up there and expect to be done in 15 minutes. What I try to do is I'm always thinking about the concrete, the representational, or sometimes called pictorial, to abstract continuum. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get representation from those 3 different kinds of thinkers in my classroom. So when I'm picking 3 things, I'm looking for an example of say this. I'm trying to figure out 67 minus 9. So a concrete thinker is going to need something to count, a number grid. Someone who's more of a visualizer might might imagine a number line or use a number line and break the 9 up into 7 and 2 and use that landmark 10, work around that. And then you're going to have the abstract thinkers who will say use compensation and say, well, why subtract 9 when I can subtract 10 and then just add one back? Try to find a way for everyone on the team to contribute. Now, I know you're probably feeling trapped by all these rules of 3, and maybe it seems limiting that you can only do 3. That's my rule, it's my guideline. But I can tell you lots of times I've got an extension question ready. I'm only 10 minutes in, I got 5 minutes to go. It looks like it's a great time to drop this extension on them, and it feels like we have plenty of time and they're ready for it. And it takes a lot more than 5 minutes. And it's going on and on. And now I'm into 20 minutes. I've broken my 15-minute rule. And I feel like we could get just a little bit farther. I might get to be able to close it out. Keep in mind, don't do this for yourself. The kids are going to start, they're going to start sampling. And you're going to be better off taking an L, accepting your losses. That time limit, it's real, it's ticking. And the sampling rate, I know it means something different for audio files, but the sampling rate is when kids are tuning in and turning out and tuning out. They can only sustain the focus and the attention to connect. They need to connect concepts and fluency and everything else that they need for what you're working on. They can't maintain that focus for a half an hour. After, if you can even get to 15 minutes, you're better off cutting it early and just taking the win. Or you get to 15 minutes and you still have time. You get to 15 minutes, you haven't finished yet, just end it. It's time for plan B. In plan B, you see P.T. Barnum there. It's always leave them wanting more. It's okay to take the L, walk away, wrap it up, come back to it tomorrow. Sometimes you got to take a loss. Don't forget to use math vocabulary whenever you can. You're modeling it for them. And use examples of student work, but be careful how you do it, please. And you should present the student work, not the students. You'll see more about that in 3 things you shouldn't do in number talks.